In today's video, I start working on a model from the Star Wars Bad Batch universe. Enjoy. So my initial plan had been to do Wrecker and Tech by themselves and then do Hunter and Omega at a later point. But it pretty quickly became obvious to me, especially with Hunter having his helmet on, that his colour scheme was just so close to the other two that it didn't make sense to do it that way. Basically, I've been working on Wrecker, Hunter and Tech at the same time, and then I'll do Omega separately because, you know, she's not an armour and, you know, a whole different colour palette, so to speak. So yeah, that's why Hunter has been getting worked on as I've been going along. So I've already done some prep work because it was very similar to Wrecker and Tech. So that stuff is basically identical. So just gonna do the white markings to prep for the orange. So I'll do the head markings first, I guess. So he's kind of like got a V, that part is orange. So we'll do that first to distinguish it. Once again, just a white coat to kind of designate the area, but hand drawn is absolutely fine in this particular case. And so it comes down to like a little point, it's like a little triangle. So if that's running straight down the helmet, and it is, we want it to meet up at the back. Because there's this little part here where it kind of has a thick mark, and that's where it kind of comes back to, so you don't want it going off away from that marking. Okay, that kind of works. Once again, also kind of more a wedge than just a straight line. Wraps around this piece. I guess it's like the line coming through almost, although it does kind of change thickness. And then on the front he just has a straight line coming down. Goes pretty much all to the end of that piece, so I'll do it to there. I made the helmet line just a little bit thicker. It was a little bit too thin, I think. And just keep on keeping on. Now I'm just making the shoulder pad ridges stand out a bit more with the thin white coat, and I'll put orange in there as well. In some of the reference images it does change a fair bit with Hunter, like on some of the stuff it's got a blue look, but I'm just going to keep it all to the red and orange, which red is his main colour, and orange obviously is the like unit colour. So Tech has a lot of orange on him as well. So I'll do the backpacks pretty much the same, although he doesn't have the antenna because his is not like a comms unit. It's just more like a regular backpack, I guess. Alright, going to start with the really small line stuff in the shoulder pads, which is with a tiny brush, kind of like what I typically use for painting eyes, like the dots of eye pupils. Got as thin a brush as I own. Hopefully the camera is focusing on what I'm painting, not on my hand. Sometimes I notice especially when I've got my hand up above, that the autofocus on my camera tends to go towards my hand and not the subject. So apologies for those times. There's not a lot I can change other than try and keep my hand more to the side, I guess. So there's less of a chance of it thinking my hand is what I'm wanting you to see and not the model itself. This is kind of like just a compromise, I guess, because this actual design of shoulder pad is quite different than several of the shoulder pads that Hunter has in Bad Batch episodes that I've referenced. So a lot of the shoulder pads he has are more kind of like wing shaped, I guess, instead of rounded over like this one. And on some of them he does have blue, but kind of like my decision early on with this painting was to make the orange colour more like the unit insignia colour that kind of ties all the Bad Batch models in together. And then each of them have their own individual colour. So like with Tech, for example, he's got a blue base because he also has blue clothing. And in most of the reference for the Hunter character, he does have red or brown red kind of tops. So hence why I've made red his individual colour, and this orange is the unit insignia colour. So yeah, these areas, there's a leather band there, so that'll be the standard leather colour I've used for all of them. But his individual colours, like on the arms, will be like a red, a burgundy sort of red. Not so much a blood red. Seems to be more like what he has. So a lot of the models on the head, there actually is white. It stays white, but with Hunter, his is a big orange line. So I kind of also think that ties into the orange being the unit color, and he is the captain or commander or whatever his title is, I forget, but he's the leader. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. He's the leader of the group. So that's why I think his helmet is orange instead of the white. Everyone else has orange elsewhere, but white on the helmet, and this distinguishes him as the leader of the squad. Okay, just that thin line of white does really help in several ways. Firstly, it also helps me know exactly where I'm painting, so that's always a good thing. But it also just masks out the area to paint. Now that's where it's going to focus on my hand because it's straight above. Try not to do that. Something I need to be mindful of is that it tends to focus on my hand more if I do that. And it comes to a ragged point. Everything about these guys is ragged and worn. Once again, there's a very small gap in the reference material I have. It's not a complete line that runs through, so that little line of gunmetal there is on purpose. It's not a mistake. Maybe that way is going to be best, yes. And I may add some more like silver chipping to the edges of the line so it looks a little bit more destroyed. And as with tech as well, I will probably add a little bit of a black wash over the line itself to just kind of make it look a little bit less pristine and off the factory floor, or painted in the squad room, or wherever it is that they actually paint these things. Okay, time for the backpack. So he's got a little more. There's a line there. I assume that these are kind of grab here. Like they would have some kind of meaning on these backpacks. Or don't touch here, it's hot, or you know what I mean, like it's going to have some kind of purpose. I'm not sure what that purpose is though. It's a backpack, so it would open at some point. I probably should re-watch the series and see if they open one at some point in time. That might give me some more indication as to why these particular markings are where they are. Okay, so there's a thin line which I probably need a smaller brush for. Very careful where you hold things. Okay. And a thicker line. So these squares are red and blue, and they're quite fluorescent, so I'll try and use very bright versions of red and blue to indicate that they are actually electric. It is like a powered backpack. And then lastly we have stripes here.